Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Beyond the Gray Media. This is Josh here, checking in on you out there in YouTube land, checking in on you the best that I can. I apologize, I have been absent. I thought that I was just losing my voice on Friday night, but it's been 1 week. Right, it's been horrible, dude. I've been so sick all Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, yesterday, breaking fevers, not able to keep food down, not really able to eat anything. Just been a mess, dude. So I wanted to come on here last night and talk about some stuff and just kind of give you guys an update, but I've just felt like absolute crap. So I'm missing work. I'm just a mess. But I wanted to at least give you guys a heads up because I feel bad, and I miss talking to you guys. So tonight, I don't even fucking know anymore. I'm gonna do the best that I can to talk about one of my favorite horror movies from 2021, one of the best movies of this decade so far, and that is the Taiwanese instant classic, The Sadness. This is one hell of a movie. It's all that and a couple of bags of chips. This is a banger title. It's got everything that you guys probably need if you're watching this channel. Plenty of gore, sadomasochism, torture, but right, it's got everything. So thanks for being here. Bear with me. I'm just happy to be doing something that's not laying on a couch and just breaking a fever. So let's check it out. The back of The Sadness reads, after a year of combating a pandemic with relatively benign symptoms, a frustrated nation finally lets its guard down. This is when the virus spontaneously mutates, giving rise to a mind-altering plague. The streets erupt into violence and depravity, and those infected are driven to enact the most cruel and ghastly things they can think of. Murder, torture, assault, and mutilation are only the beginning. A young couple is pushed to the limits of sanity as they try to reunite amid the chaos. The age of civility and order is no more. There is only the sadness. The virus they mention in The Sadness is actually called the Alvin virus, and it starts out with a lot of people kind of disbelieving, talking about no, this is actually going to be as mild as the flu. But in reality, the Alvin virus has dormant protein chains that have the same order as rabies. Virus deniers go on to argue about it and how curious it is that it shows up in an election year. Doesn't that sound familiar? Characters debate back and forth about when you are sick, you just stay home and get rest. Let the news make it more than it is so they can lower the stock to then buy low and sell high. Also interesting is that this film was made by a Canadian director who decided to base the entire concept of the pandemic and the governmental response to it. This movie gives you about 7 minutes to kind of get your legs under you before it sweeps them and just opens a giant fuckwad can of zombified gore corn. Our introduction to the Alvin outbreak takes place in a little breakfast stop where the shopkeeper is busily multitasking, making eggs, pork, tofu, and frying french fries. A granny, though, is not here for the special of the day. As she turns around to greet us, we realize that something has gone horribly wrong. Before you know it, those same french fries and oil are dumped on the worker and his skin is peeled off like a Kraft slab cheese single. The bloodshed has a domino effect, and this film is off and running. Speaking of running, these plague virus fellers must be sponsored by Nike because they move with the quickness. If you're a fan of 28 Days Later and Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead Zombies, this film is probably for you. These infected have dull black eyes, hornet-striped teeth, and a perversion for sadism, psychosexual torture, and of course, flesh. Really understanding how badly this film's version of the zombies are, they are brutal, they are vile, they are disgusting, and nothing is off limits in this film. Whether you're a seasoned gore whore or a seeker of high and disturbing content, The Sadness is going to deliver. It doesn't become one of the most controversial releases of the last few years for no reason. The film toys with its food. It has universal taboos and the devil's playground within which it does its business. Plenty of foreshadowing sets up some of the film's most horrific content. The Sadness is a really, really claustrophobic film. Not as much as something like Danny Boyle's 28 Days Later where there's all that shaky cam, but it does have a feel to that where you're just running away from these things and they can run faster than you and they can talk to you. So it's not some zombie that's just unplugged and just totally brain dead. They act out on their worst desires, their lust, their sexual perversions. It triggers something in their brain that makes people, in cafes and trains and buses, all of a sudden, they go from having kind of just a silly case of the sniffles where something like Zicam and Coldies or any of those cough and flu tablets, that's not going to do it for them. They just become this feeding frenzy. It's just like a shark attack. You go from 1 stab to 2 stabs to 4 stabs. Everyone, it's just this bloody mess. All of a sudden you've got the entire train slipping and sliding in a state of bloody grudge sludge. The gore, however, when that's happening, is pretty incredible. You got lacerated ankles and umbrellas through the eyes. All of a sudden, everyone is just feeling frisky in these really weird and bizarre kind of blood orgies. And I think that's probably what turns a lot of people off with this film. And that's the trip of it. The brain is still fully intact. They're not just like unplugged or switched off. The zombies themselves, they can act out on those desires, those perversions, that lust. It's vile, it's depraved, it's violent, it's disgusting. And I love it. There's so much disgusting stuff that I'm not sure if I can even describe it here for this YouTube clip, but trust me, if you can imagine it, they do it, and it just becomes almost kind of like this hodgepodge of society with a little bit of Night of the Living Dead, right? It's got a little Dead Alive vibe to it. There is a ton of blood and gore in this film, and I think it's just incredible. Unlike traditional zombie films, you get homicidal, sadistic maniacs that can think, and they can talk to you, and they can torment you. They can taunt. It's a trip to watch. It really is. And these zombies will fuck pretty much anything. I mean, anything. I've never seen an eyeball hole, used that way, but in this film, it definitely is. Now, there's a lot of things that happen off screen, and some people might say, shouldn't this come with like a mature warning, like a little bit of a trigger ban if you're going to be saying things that are PTSD inducing? And yeah, for sure, this is not as intense as like a Serbian film. But there are some scenes in this film that is going to make people feel a very certain type of way. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. The scene with the hospital where there's the doctor and he decides to, save some people because it would be worse to let some people live because what they actually do in the trash can would have been just a worse outcome. So there is some scenes like a Serbian film. I don't think it's as bad at all. But yeah, The Sadness is a mean flick, man. But what you don't expect is sometimes you watch a film because of word of mouth and your need for more gore. But usually with splatter and extreme genre films, for me anyway, you have kind of tempered expectations, if you will. You're willing to sacrifice script and artistic integrity for the amount of visceral violence and atrocities that happen on screen. A lot of times you're willing to put up with like a hacky script and, really bad film angles just to, get some really good gore on screen. You want to just see bloodshed, and that's totally fine. I'm here for that. Luckily though, for those of us that seek these kind of films out, The Sadness is a damn revelation. This is a really well-made movie. From the opening scene, this film is awesome to look at. It uses these kind of like dull and faded greens and this heavy amount of blur where it's almost like you have a fever, and it's a trip to be talking about this because I watched it last night when I really didn't feel well. And you've got all this blur and motion on the screen, and as the blur kind of like starts to settle in, you, the viewer, you start to see that there's a presence behind your character here. Something bad is lurking behind, and that's just kind of a trip to watch. But yeah, there are elements to this that I definitely feel are very fever dream, where your reality is just really blurry and it's condescending, meaning you can't really trust anyone in this goddamn film. Things could be really the normies. Everybody could be infected, and it doesn't really explain how you're going to spawn this brutal buffet. Forget Day of the Dead. At least in Romero's films, there was never a sexual threat, right? That ups the ante and the stakes quite a bit, exponentially, I would say. Yeah, it's a crazy idea for a movie, but it's so beautiful to look at, and you care about the characters, and it's like just a classic story where dude drops his wife or girlfriend off at work, and he's just got to get to her when the world falls apart. And so it's just a race to the finish line, and it's a sad movie. The Sadness, right? That's what it's called. And while being an extremely poor taste for most of the general public, I fucking love it. I love that it goes there. You think that, taking a fire extinguisher and freezing someone's face off before busting it open would be good enough, but not The Sadness. No, not for this depraved little baddie. He decides to show you freezing the face, and then you just pound that shit until there's nothing left, and it's just concrete and just this pulpy mess. Chef's kiss, man. Chef's kiss. The Sadness brings it. Smash by fucking smash until there is nothing left. It may very well be the best gory zombie film since Dead Alive. And that's saying something. So hats off to you. Sadness. So let's look at this version that I got. This is not the Vinegar Syndrome 4K with the special slip that everybody got that was sold out. I wasn't really collecting super boutique stuff then, and to go back and buy it now, you're looking at like $75 for the same transfer, for the same special features as this movie right here. This is from Raven's banner. I don't know why I'm pointing like you guys are in trouble. This has the exact same insides, right? The same film, the same specs. Everything is just the same. I don't know why this thing was loose though. Hold on. You get quality. You get what you pay for, am I right? So inside you got the 4K, right? And then you've also got the Blu-ray here as well. I watched the 4K and then I put the Blu-ray on. The Blu-ray looks so good on my old TV in my room. Like, it looks incredible. And then if you watch those Vinegar Syndrome reviews, you get the same booklet here that's got the storyboards. It's got, you know, the Sadness Gore guide, right? It's thick, man. It's probably, I don't even know, 30 or 40, 25, 30? I don't know. There's the nice little photo of the dude getting the fries dumped on him with the oil. And then on the inside, it's got the reversible cover art. I guess it's not really reversible, but it is this image here, which I don't know why you would have that if you're not planning on having it be reversible. But anyway, it's cool that this version right here, it's still kind of expensive. I want to say I paid $38 for this, and I did import it. So if you use Diabolic, which is my go-to, I like Orbit DVD too. I don't know why I'm having so many problems with this. It's probably because I don't feel good. You'll also notice that I shot this review. You won't notice. I'm just fucking telling you. I shot it in 2 parts. This afternoon, I was feeling like death, man. Just total dog shit. I got some rest. I hydrated up. And so then this is part 2. Right about 7 minutes is kind of where I started filming again. So yeah, thanks for hanging in there with me, man. I was just really dying. So this 4K though looks incredible. It's damn good. I love the Sadness. I think this is another one of those, if you watch the Sadness, it was really popular on Shudder when it came out, your street cred goes up like immediately. If you don't watch foreign films but you've seen the Sadness, people are like, oh, that's a messed up movie. Like, not that that matters, right? But if you're not watching foreign films, man, what are you doing? Foreign films are the best. And the only problem with them, I've got a couple like on my desk here, is you do have to pay attention because a lot of times the language is obviously in something that you don't speak unless you speak Mandarin, which would be the shit. But you know, you have to read a little bit. But this film, there's not a lot of dialogue. It's very, you know, story driven. So the story is told through pictures and transitions, and it's just beautiful to look at, man. If you're not watching the Sadness, like, you're really missing out. This is a damn good movie from a damn good director. I don't know, he's done I think he did another one too, but I haven't seen it. But Taiwan horror, man, Taiwanese, damn good. You guys, if you want to see more from me, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna come back this week with maybe another foreign film. We'll see. But take care of yourselves. Appreciate you. Love you. Cheers.